So a very good morning. Today we will learn about the working of an LL1 parser. As you all know, LL1 parser, it is a top-down parser. It is a top-down parser, which means you start constructing your tree from top to the down. Okay, now let's see how do these LL1 parsers work. Now, all parsers, they work on a common strategy. We'll see it first with the help of LL1 parsers. Now, you will be having an input string, which you will have to check whether it is valid or not with the help of some production rules. You'll have an input string and you will have production rules. You will be using an LL1 parsing algorithm. With the help of that, you will be making an LL1 parsing table. Together with that, you will be even making a parse tree and with the help of the LL1 parsing table and the parse tree, you will be able to tell whether a given string is invalid or a given string is valid. So this is how the LL1 parser works. LL1 parser working. You will have an input string together with production tools. You will be working that with the help of an LL1 parsing algorithm. You will be constructing an LL1 parsing table and a parse tree, and you will be checking whether your string is invalid or not. Now, interestingly, all parsers, they follow the same logic. Okay. So the only thing which will change is if it is an LR parser, you will be using an LR parsing algorithm. You will be having an LR table. If it is an SLR, you will be having an SLR parsing algorithm. You will be constructing a different table and so on. So be it any parser, this will be the basic logic of how a parser will work. Now, if you quickly revise about LL1 parsers, as the name tells you, it reads from left. Reads from left. Okay, the first L tells you that it reads from left. The second L tells you it is a leftmost derivation. And this one tells you one character at a time. So this is what LL1 parser means. Reads from the left, leftmost derivation, a character at a time. Now all the parsers, they will be using data structures. They will be using data structures for the functioning, and it will be the stack data structure. Hope you remember stack. Last in, first out, the LIFO. It will be using the LIFO stack data structure for the. Now, let's see the steps in LL1 parser or the algorithm of the LL1 parser. Now, step number 1 is find the first and follow. Please write it down together with me. Find out the first and follow. Step number 2 is construct the LL1 parsing table. Step number 3 is check string validity. Now, how do you check string validity? You do it with the help of a few rules. Now, let's see how string validity is checked. Now, to check string validity, first thing what you have to do is place a dollar at the bottom of stack. Okay, just have these steps down. When you do a program, it will be clear. LAP is look ahead pointer. Advanced look ahead pointer, one at a time. Advance the look ahead pointer, one at a time. Whenever match occurs, pop. While pushing onto the stack, leftmost entry should be at the top of the stack. Step number 4, construct the parse tree. Step number 5, advance the look ahead pointer until dollar is reached. So let's have a problem. So take out the question. First one. Construct an LL1 parser. Construct an LL1 parser and check string validity. So now the grammar you have is S in brackets or epsilon. This is the production rule you have, and you have to check whether this particular string is valid or not by constructing an LL1 parser. So, as per the algorithm, the first thing you have to do is you have to calculate the first and follow. So, we'll do that first. We have to calculate the first and follow for this particular production rule. Anyway, we do have only one rule, S. So the first will be either it can be an opening bracket or it can be an epsilon. So you normally end it up with a dollar. Now we will calculate the follow of S. So S happens only over here. Following S, you have a closing bracket. It could even be dollar. So you have now calculated the first and follow. You have to construct an LL1 parsing table. Now, if you properly construct the LL1 parsing table, then the remaining of the algorithm is very, very easy. Now, let's see how you construct the LL1 parsing table. Look over here. In your first and follow, what all symbols do you have other than the epsilon? So I do have an opening bracket, I do have a closing bracket, and I do have a dollar. Okay, so I've written down all of that. I have written down all of that. And what is the production rule I have? The production rule I have is S. So this is the skeleton of my LL1 parsing table. you have made up the skeleton, you will have to fill up things inside for each column. Okay, now take the first portion. Now, in first, you have a opening bracket. The first, you have an opening bracket corresponding to S. So, over here, you will be writing, that is, you have an opening bracket over here. So, in the corresponding portion of the opening bracket, you will write the actual rule of S. The actual rule of S is S. Okay, now wait for a moment. So you have finished what you have written in the opening bracket. Now you have to write things over here in the closing bracket and in the dollar portion. Now the closing bracket and the dollar portion, it comes in the follow. Or in other words, if you look over here, in the first, you have an opening bracket. So under the opening bracket, you write an actual. You write the actual rule, S is equal to S. Now, together with the first, you even have an epsilon. Together with the first over here, you even have an epsilon. But as you know, in your parsing table, you cannot write epsilon. So, if you have an epsilon in the first question, look, what all do you have in the follow? In the follow, I have a opening, sorry, a closing, and I even have a dollar. Okay, so if you have an epsilon in the first, look what you have in the follow. You have a closing and a dollar, and under the corresponding portions of the closing and the dollar, write the epsilon portion of the production, which means you will write S epsilon over here, and even here you will write S epsilon. Now that we've seen in detail how to construct the LL1 parsing table, now we will check for string validity. Now, to check for string validity, you already have a string in the question, and then you have to check whether this is valid or invalid. Now, the best way to check string validity is have three columns: stack, input, and here we will, together with that, we will construct the tree. So now we are going to check the string validity. Now let's see how to do it. It is very interesting how to do it. Now, initially, put dollar in your stack. As in the algorithm I've told you, in the bottom of the stack, put a dollar. And what do you have to check? You have to check whether this particular string is valid or not. So that is the input string we have in the question. As we normally do, end it up with a dollar. The moment dollars and dollars come together, it means it is a match. So we have to work for that. Now all the check-ins, you will be doing it with your LL1 parsing table. Okay. Now look here very carefully. What is the start symbol? The start symbol is S. So we'll do one thing. Start symbol is S. You know it from your production rule. So you write your dollar S. Okay. So this is your start. S is encountering an opening bracket. Okay. So come to your LL1 parsing table. S is encountering an opening bracket, which means you have to go for this particular rule. Replace your S with an S in a closing and opening bracket. S is encountering an opening bracket. So you look into your LL1 parsing table, S opening bracket, which means you should go for this corresponding rule. So what you do is, instead of this S, replace it with S in an opening bracket or closing bracket. But the thing you should keep in mind is, you should read from the left. Sorry, you should read from the right. So you will write it like this. That is why in the algorithm I told you, read backwards. Okay, so I've replaced the S with an S with an opening and closing bracket. You have read from reverse, and here you do still have this over here. And when you look into the tree, you started with an S, you replaced it with an S in an opening and a closing bracket. But when you write it into the stack, what you will do is, you will write it in the reverse. So that is done. Your opening bracket now encounters another opening bracket, which means a match has happened. Whenever a match has happened, you will have to pop. Okay, so you have popped both together because a match has happened. Now what you have is, you just have this much as your stack and your input. S again encounters an opening bracket. So come back to your parsing table. S encounters an opening bracket, which means, S you will have to replace with this particular thing. The only thing is, you should write it backward. Okay, so you will replace S with this backward fashion thing. Come to your tree. This S, you have again replaced it with S in a bracket. Here, you have this particular term. Okay, encounters with this. It is a match. So I will pop it up again. So remaining, I do have this with closing, and dollar. S will now encounter a closing bracket. Come to my passing table. S will now encounter a passing table, which means S should be replaced by epsilon. S should be replaced by epsilon means, S nullifies itself. So, remaining I have this over here. I replaced S with epsilon. I check both of these. They are a match. The moment they are a match, I strike it off. It's popped. Remaining, I do have this. These two encounter, which means, again they pop off. At the end of the day, I do have $, which means this particular string is valid. This particular string is a valid string. Same grammar, check for the validity of a string. Okay, this is the string which you need to check the validity. Okay, because it is the same grammar. We have the same first and follow. We have the same NL1 parsing tree. You start here with $. Your input is this, and then you start with S. Okay, so we'll do it quickly. You don't end it up with S. Sorry, you don't begin it with S. You end it up with S. I made a mistake. Okay, you end it up with $. Sorry. Yeah. You encounter S and open bracket. S and open bracket means you replace S with this. Your tree becomes this much. Okay. You encounter opening, cancel it off. Remaining, you have this. Okay. S you encounter with a closing bracket. S you encounter with a closing bracket, which means S is gonna be epsilon, which means, S is nullified, and then you have S. Okay, so the 10 you will be making. We were dealing with our LL1 parcels. Now we will do our second problem. You have a given grammar which has got 5 production rules. The first thing you have to do is you will be having to calculate the first and follow. Okay, so once you have calculated the first and follow for each of these, what you have to do is you will have to construct your LL1 parsing table, which also you did as part of your homework. Now let us have the question. Have the question down. For the given grammar, this is your grammar. For the given grammar, check the validity of a given string W equal to ID plus ID into ID. So for the given grammar, this is the string you have to check, for which, as we told earlier, we have calculated the first and follow. You have even built up the LL1 table. Now let's see how to calculate the validity of a string. We already did it earlier, but we'll do another problem so that things are very, very clear for you. Okay, so as I told you earlier, you should be having 3 columns. You will have a column for your stack, for your input, and for your tree. So these are the 3 columns you will be having. First thing you do is, the bottom of stack, you put a dollar, and you have to check the validity of ID plus ID into ID. So that is your input string. You have to check the validity of ID plus ID into ID. You will end it up with the is encountering with ID. So you have E dash T. So when you write it, you will be writing it with the reverse order. Dollar E dash T ID plus ID into ID dollar. Okay. So what you have done is you have the tree starting with E. But remember, when you write the tree, you write it in the normal form T E dash. Okay, but when you put it in the stack, you will be doing it in the reverse order. Okay, so once that is done, let's go for the next one. PID. PID, you will be replacing it with FT dash. When you put it in the stack, you will be putting it in the reverse order. So replace T with T dash F. ID plus ID into ID dollar. So what have you done? T, you have replaced it with F T dash. So now you are encountering F and ID. FID, what you are going to do is you should be replacing F with ID. So you write dollar E dash. T also nothing is happening. T dash, nothing is happening. F, you are replacing it with an ID. F is being replaced with an ID, and here you have ID plus ID into ID dollar. Now look here. Next, ID is a match, which means you are popping. You are popping out from the stack. So now in the stack, you just have E dash, T dash. E dash, T dash remaining. T dash together with plus. Okay, you are encountering T dash together with the plus, which means T dash becomes an epsilon. T dash becomes an epsilon. So, it becomes nothing. So, you do have $E dash plus ID into ID dollar. Now, this is what you have in the stack. E dash is encountering with plus. E dash is encountering with plus. You have a plus T E dash. When you put it into your stack, you will write it in the reverse order. E dash T plus. This E dash, you are replacing it with plus T E dash. So, mind you, when you put it in the tree, you put it in the same order. When you put it in the stack, you will be putting it in the reverse order. And then you have the remaining things over here. Plus ID into ID dollar. Plus and plus is meeting, which means, it is a match. You cancel it, which means, it is a popping. Next, you have T and ID. T and ID. T and ID, you do have FT dash. T and ID, you have FT dash. So inside your stack, this T, you will replace it with the reverse T dash F. So this particular T, you are replacing it with F T dash. You're replacing it with F T dash. Okay. And here, what you have remaining is you have ID into ID dollar. FID, which means, this F guy, replace it with an ID. Okay. So here you have ID into ID. So what did you just do now? This F, you replaced it with an ID. This F, you replaced it with an ID. ID. It is a perfect match. So what you will do is you will pop it off. ID is a match. You are popping it off. Next, you have T and into. T and into. So now I do have over here T dash into. T dash with into. Okay, T dash is encountering with an into sign. So here I write $E dash, this particular term, star F T dash, but I write it in the reverse. T dash F star. Okay, so what did I do now? This T dash, I replaced it with star F T dash. Okay, here I do have star ID dot. Okay, star and star, it is a match, which means, I am popping out things. So what is the next encountering thing? F and ID. F and ID, I do have a production rule. F is to be replaced with ID. So I write over here E dash, T dash, ID. And here I do have ID and dollar. So what did I do just now? This particular F I had, I replaced it with an ID. ID cancelled. Okay. Now I have T dash dollar. T dash encountering with dollar means very simple. The T dash I have, make it into an epsilon. So I write over here E dash, T dash became an epsilon. Okay. The next I have E dash dollar. E dash dollar, which means, replace E dash also with epsilon. So, I have an E dash somewhere over here. This also I replaced it with an epsilon. I had an E dash, that also I replaced with an epsilon. At the end of the day, I came up with the top of the stack is equal to dollar. The top of the stack is dollar, and my input, there's nothing in the input. I've proved everything. That also is a dollar. So, the moment you get dollar, it means the input string with which I started off. With which string did I start off? I started off with ID plus ID into ID. This particular string is a valid string for the particular grammar. Now look into your tree. Let's be very careful when we look into the tree. Take the terminals. Take the terminals. Okay, I'll travel from my left, take the terminals. Epsilon is epsilon. So, you simply avoid it. ID plus ID into ID. Yeah, the remaining things are epsilon. So, when I look into my tree also, I do get ID plus ID into ID, which means for this particular grammar, the string ID plus ID into ID is a valid string. Have the next question. For the same grammar, for this particular grammar, yeah, the same thing. We did prove ID plus ID into ID is valid. Okay, so prove the next thing. ID into ID plus ID. Check whether this is valid or not. ID minus ID, sorry, ID into ID plus ID. Check the validity of that. Afterwards, check the validity of minus ID plus ID. Minus of ID plus ID. After that, check the validity of ID plus minus ID. Okay, these brackets are very important. You'll have to check whether the brackets also hold. Okay, because it could hold. It could hold because you do have a production rule with a bracket. After that, prove ID plus ID. Okay. You'll have to check the validity of all these, out of which we have done this. All the remaining, it is as your homework, and you will be showing it to me on Monday. So this is the next problem we will look into for LL1 parsing. You do have a given grammar. As you all know, first you have to do the first and follow, after which we have to construct the LL1 parsing table. Now the question is, for this particular grammar, check whether the string W equal to ID plus minus ID. Or, ID plus minus ID is valid or not. Okay, ID plus minus ID is valid or not. This is the first problem you have to do. The second which you have to do is check whether ID plus ID is valid. Okay, you have to do these two. This you can do it by yourself. This I will help you how to do. W is equal to ID plus epsilon ID. We do have the LL1 parsing table. I will have my 3 columns: stack, input, and the tree. Let's see how to prove it. Okay. Bottom of the stack, you will have dollar. Your starting symbol is E. So you put in E. What we have to prove is ID plus cap ID. Okay. So, I'm putting my dollar there at the end. So let us do things with our table. E ID. Okay. E is encountering a small ID. So, they're telling me replace E with ID. Replace E with ID. So I get dollar ID over here, and here I have ID plus these. ID, it encounters, it gets cancelled off, popping. So now I have ID, sorry, I don't have anything over here. I just have a dollar. I do have a plus and this push. Dollar encountering with a plus. Okay, so look here, I don't have a dollar entry. Usually, you know, you should be getting such an ideal thing. Dollar encounters dollar. The bottom of the stack shouldn't be encountering any other non-terminal. But you know, here you get a case, dollar is encountering plus. You do not have a corresponding entry for that. So very simple, the string ID plus cap ID is not valid. So you were able to prove it very simple because you know you're encountering dollar with the plus. So you know we'll do another problem. So let's have 3 columns. We have the stack, we have the input, we have the tree. Okay. So bottom of the stack we have dollar. You're starting with E. So you know let's try proving something like this. ID into minus plus ID. Okay, you have a given string ID into minus plus ID. Let's check whether this is valid or not. So let's start. EID. The moment you get EID, you'll have to replace your E with ID. ID into minus plus ID. Okay. So you have an E, you have replaced it with ID. ID and ID very much they cancel. You get the same case as before. Dollar into minus plus ID you encounter. You do not have such a case. So you say the particular string is invalid. Okay, so when you do not have a corresponding entry in your LL1 table, you say that the string is invalid.